Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue the streak for September, which is two-character Chinese phrases. Today we're going to cover 力学. Okay, so yesterday in 力, I translated 力 as power because that's better pairing with martial power or muscle power, however you want to view it. But 力 is in this context means energy or probably power, because power kind of have the connotation of political power or power struggle, that kind of. But energy is more neutral. It's simply depicting a physical phenomenon, energy. Okay, so energy came from this farming tool. That looks like a kind of a plow or rake. It got a sharp edges, and definitely it's not just three of them. It's a whole line of them. But Chinese tend to use only three to represent the whole thing. So this is the edge, the sharpening pointer edges of the farming tool, and here the top. It's kind of like a handle. So this handle, either I would imagine at the beginning is handheld. So some manual labor, go pull this plow through the soil, or eventually it was attached to animal muscle power. So farming became easier when we can capture animal power. Right? So in any case, it's a farming tool. Most commonly used farming tool that requires it's energized by muscle power. So eventually this tool, because the tool is a fixed thing in shape, that's something we can capture into the language versus energy is invisible. Because the tool is attached to energy source in the form of muscle power, humans or animals. Then this tool then was symbolizing tied with muscle power. So then it symbolized the muscle or the power or the energy in this case. So that's how language creator kind of go about it indirectly. Instead of talking energy, such abstract thing, we're talking about the tools attached to energy. Okay, that's 力. 学. Okay, by the way, the top are both of them are simplified Chinese. So when I was first learning about this native languages, it's hard to see what exactly that is or the story behind it. So all I did was, wrote memory to memorize, okay, this shape, this how you write the 力, but I never look inside like what exactly that means, how it came into being. But it all makes sense to me now. Okay, 学, this is the ancient form, traditional Chinese form of 学. It looks pretty complicated. It is. There are many parts because study is not an easy concept. It was an invention in later society. In later days, when education becomes important, when families can afford to pool their resources to build a school, to house their children, to get them educated. And also, even by then, it's only a percentage of kids lucky enough to get such an opportunity. For example, girls were not expected to study. And I would imagine like people from different classes, some class are expected to just do manual labor, pulling this rake up plow, do the farming labor. You don't really need to get highly educated. And only people who aspire to become part of the ruling class have this fortune to learn. Okay, the study came from, you see the child symbol have this big oval shape, big head with two arms upward pointing and one torso. That's the baby icon in Chinese, because baby, this is a pre-walking baby. It doesn't really have the legs represented over there because legs were not an important feature on babies pre-walking. legs are useless back then. And then, but arms are the major, communication tool from the baby to the caregiver, like pick me up or give me food, or some needs and wants, probably pre-speaking age of babies. So this is more like an infant stage of human baby with big head, right? Out proportionally big head, arms reaching up with one torso without emphasizing on legs at all. So that's baby. And then eventually, of course, it's generalized, not just infant state. It's any underage minors would be considered this baby sign. It's okay. It's contemporary writing simplified into that. Now with this arch simply means a covered space, and then the two crosses on top of it. I have two views on that. One is it's architecture, almost like a temple, looking with fancy rooftops that kind of built together with this interlocking of wood beams built up together, almost shaped like a temple, because private school back then, I guess as well as today, was regarded as almost like a sacred place, as a temple of knowledge, right? So like a family pull together resources to build this architecture probably is better than majority of the households, because people respect knowledge, respect schooling, everything represented under that roof. So that's roof structure. That's one. The second interpretation, my imagination, is this cross symbolize the network of knowledge, because knowledge doesn't exist on its own. It's interlocking structure of one lead to another. It's a whole map of things. Just like when we do one word a day, I can only afford to do one word a day. I mean, you probably only have an attention span for one word a day, but it's a whole vast universe of Chinese. But how we're going to approach it, just starting from one word a day, and then eventually this interlocking structure, this networking, this intricate interconnections between characters start to make sense to me. So I've done this for almost 2 years. And then I start to have some revelation after seeing many. So I like to see that as network of knowledge as well. That's the subject matter of what you are learning over there. But the other one is the temple, the architecture, the setting of the school. It's a temple looking, intricate roofing of this arch, of this sheltered space where children can safely learn. Okay, the top symmetrical, this shape is handling. You can view it as handling. So most likely children doesn't learn on their own. I mean, self-learning can happen, but only after they are led into the world of knowledge. Like they already have some foundation, then they can sort out things on their own, self-learning, right? At the beginning of learning, it has to be somebody show them the way. And that somebody is the teacher, professors, right? And then the two downward reaching hands symbolize adult hands. It's cross-generational knowledge passing. So this, also handle with care, kind of. Oh, you can put in those symbols that downward reaching hands, these adult hands are kind of hand holding babies to learn human knowledge, generations of human knowledge together. So that's very visual Chinese expression of what it takes, like who the teachers, students in this temple of knowledge, or this intricate network of knowledge. It's a definition of what study is. So it's really connecting a lot of different elements about what a study is. The location, the people involved in there. So it's this cross-generational transfer of knowledge. That's study. And the 力学 is just by definition, the study of the power, or the study of the energy, or the study of how things mechanically move. So that's mechanical study, I guess. It's when you see 学 paired with something, it's a subject matter. It's what would be a department in university. So 力学 is mechanics, department of mechanics. That's the branch of study, that's very specified study to study the energy, the form, the structure, the interconnection pieces, as in this complicated engine-looking thing, represent that's what 力学 is about. Okay, catching into the currency of thinking by one word a day with something another day.